birthday if it's your birthday, happy belated birthday if it's in the past, happy future birthday if it's in the future. My name is Lime Green, and welcome back to the Out of Time podcast. Last time, what did we do? Oh yeah, we did the water temple. What a treat that was. We finally got to experience what everyone was talking about for years and years and years. But this time we experienced a different kind of treat. We'll just jump into it. So, as you do, we return to... Let me set the stage. We return to the Temple of Time. And I wrote this last time, but I wrote it kind of weird. Maybe it's just in the 3DS version or something, but when... you're the adult Link, and you go to put the sword back in the pedestal, it says A to drop. That's like a weird thing. Not put away. I'm trying to think of a better term. Like drop? Sheath? That might be a better term to use. I don't know. Drop just sounds weird. So then I was like, well, what do I do now? I guess I'll start doing some mini games around town. So I went to the Bomb Chew minigame that messed me up, and I did it first try, everyone. It was kind of surprising that there was a big chicken, and you just win bombs, apparently. I don't know, let me know if you do it, a second time and you win and you get something cool. But I don't know, that was kind of a letdown. Then I went to the shooting gallery. And that turned into a crazy thing. So, I failed the first time. I failed the second time, and I got a free game. The third time, let me preface this that I was in the back of a car, and, the 3DS has got gyro aiming, so, it got a little screwed up. And the fourth time, I also messed up. I got free game. And the fifth time I messed up. And the sixth time I messed up. And the seventh time I messed up. I got free game. And the eighth time I messed up. And the ninth time I messed up. And then the 10th and final time, I got the big Deku Seed bullet bag. Which means, I don't know, I can hold more Deku seeds or something. But I was kind of more impressed I did it. I only had 10 rupees left, and if you're in the know, it takes 20 rupees to play. So, I'm impressed even myself. I don't know. So then I was like, what else do we do around town? The guide I heavily used during the water temple was like, you gotta use Din's Fire. You gotta use Pharaoh's Wind. You gotta use Din's Fire. You gotta use Pharaoh's Wind. So I was like, where's Din's Fire? I think it's somewhere around here. So I went and got Din's Fire. Then I was like, let's check, see if there's anything changed with, the temple, or the guards at the temple. See if we can sneak up at Hyrule Castle. But the guards, they don't let you in. So I went back to Hyrule Town, Castle Town, and I found a Bonchu store. They just sell bomb shoes, and their prices are a little ridiculous. He's like the guy from Wind Waker. And I have this Keaton mask. I'm not sure if I told you, I don't know. And there's these dogs running around. And you gotta lead this one dog to the lady. And they all kinda look the same, I don't know. But the way I found out, or that I was using, it might not be true. I was putting on the Keaton mask, and the dogs seemed to follow me when I was wearing the Keaton mask. I'm not sure. Maybe I was like tricking myself into believing it. I'm not sure. Let me know if that's a real thing. So I was like, I think I've done everything there is to possibly do in Castletown. So let's pull this Master Sword and just see if there's anything to do in Kakariko. And so I went to Kakariko, and all of a sudden there's like all sorts of insane stuff going on. Kakariko is on fire. Sheik is like fighting with a shadow demon, and I was like, what the heck? And Sheik's like, Impa sealed this evil spirit at the bottom of the well. Here's the Nocturne of Shadow. And I was like, cool. Well, first off, I was like, what the heck? The well is actually important to the main story? What the heck? And then I was like, Impa is a, whatever they're called, sage? And I was like, Kakariko gets destroyed, and like this is like the craziest thing that's ever happened on this game so far. And so I explored around Kakariko a bit. I found bunk beds, which were weird. I was like, bunk beds in Zelda? That's weird. I don't know, that like threw me off for some reason. I found a weird potion shop guy when I long-shotted to the top of the roof. And he was talking about smells, and some guy gave me a piece of a heart on top of the roof. Then there was a couple dancing in the rain. And then behind the windmill, there's a big rock that can't be bombed, picked up, or smashed with the hammer. So far, the hammer, it's really let me down. So then there's a shooting gallery there, and I lost. This episode so far is just me losing at the shooting gallery, but I lost the first time. And the second time I got for free. But then I won a lot faster, and you just get more arrow space. So I eventually had to look up what you had to do. This is like the most ridiculous how would you find out thing. You gotta play the you gotta play the Song of Storms when you're a kid in the windmill, which causes it to spin really fast and then drains the well. I was like, alright, you got me there. So then you fall down the ladder to fall down another ladder. And then then there's a Skulltula and just a man. A skeleton of a man. And I was like, is this Paper Mario 1000-Year-Old Door? Is that Koops' father? What is going on here? And then Navi's like, I hear the spirits whispering. Look for the Eye of Truth. I'm like, I don't care about the Eye of Truth. What do you mean the spirits are whispering? And then it looks like a dead end. You're like, well, like I've been led astray by the boulder in the well all this time. I'm like, I guess I'll pack it up, go upstairs, play the Song of Storms in the windmill, change something else in the well. But actually, it's a fake wall. Sneaky, sneaky Nintendo devs. Back in 1998. And then, I only found out about this. I wrote this down. Because I was like, maybe I'm not seeing a crack in the wall. So I was just throwing bombs up both willy and nilly. And then I heard a pot sound break. I was like, oh. Little cheeky. Cheeky. So I went through the wall, and then there's just fake floors everywhere, and this is what I was talking about. Let me get one final punch at the Forest Temple. What if the Forest Temple had things like this, like invisible floors, invisible walls? Like, I'm not sure if people like or dislike this dungeon, but I am a fan of this dungeon. This dungeon's like, let me get more of whatever this food was. So if you fall through the fake floors, you end up in like a re-dead zone. They're all like sitting on the floor, and there's like a little pathway of like rupees, and it's like, you will risk your luck and get the rupees, but there's like hands coming out of like this gross zone, and then there's like a ladder you gotta climb up, and sometimes the re-dead just stands up and he just screams at you. And then you just walk along, and then there's a skull that floats, and he kind of looks like this. Well, I guess the Wind Waker skull looks like this guy, but he looks like the skull that would like take your abilities away. That's why I didn't want to really run into him, but instead he's just a regular guy. But if I had a nickel for every time an enemy would hit me through a fake wall and help me out, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice. So that happened twice, and I was like, oh, cool. 2 locked doors, 2 keys, and then you put them in, and then there's a room with bats flying around, and they're over a pit, and instantly I was like, whoa, this is the coolest dungeon ever. That room solidified to me. I was like, this dungeon is going up to like A tier at least, because invisible floors over a pit, I was like, check it. And then I took out my slingshot, and I was like, pew, 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 pew. And then I just lit up the entire floor with little Deku nuts, and I went my way across there, and I got the golden skulltula. That was the funnest thing. I'm not sure, that might not be fun for people, but that was great. You know, you could also use it with bombs, I found out. You throw the bomb, if the bomb falls through, then you can't walk there. Eventually I found this fish spewing water, and you gotta play Zelda's Lullaby to it. I was like, what does this even do? This is weird. And you gotta play Zelda's Lullaby a lot in this game, I'm learning. You play music to the fish, and then you go along, and there's this room of sarcophagi, and torches, and the only one that's lit is this one next to Gibdo. And this was kind of like a tricky puzzle, if you would call it that, because I was trying to figure out how you would do this if you didn't have Din's fire. Because every time you would get close to the torch with a stick, the Gibdo would just be like, ah! Scream at you, and then Link would put the torch away. So eventually I would just be like, whatever. And then I did Din's fire, and it lit up the whole area. Like, magic, I'm learning, is just an easy way out. And the key in the sarcophagus was an odd 3D model. I don't think we've ever seen the key like outside of a chest before, just lying there. That was an odd note, I guess. And then I continued along. Then there's this room, another room with invisible floors over a pit. And I was like, cool, I'll just do what I did for that other room. But this room has Beamos and like fire bats, yeah. And let me tell you, this room was kinda finicky, I'll say, because you throw the bomb at the Beamos, and then you do whatever to the bats, and then you gotta go wah, 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 wah. There's like a jar to your right, and then there's a chest all the way to the left, and then just the way the floor tile is angled, like I got the chest all by myself without the dungeon item, I'll say. But getting to that door is like aggravating, especially because when you fall through the floor and make your way back up, there is no reprieve. All the enemies respawn. I thought that's what you're supposed to do, just make your way through. So eventually I was like, alright, what do you gotta do? Where's the floor at? And I looked up a guide, and I was like, oh, you're not even supposed to go here. And they're like, you're supposed to, when the water level goes down, you're supposed to be crawling through a duct, and you're supposed to be facing a mini-boss. And I was like, a mini-boss? I didn't even know. So I did that, and his name is Dead Hand, and he's not even a hand. He's like a glob. But he's got... Navi says he has infinite hands, which is interesting. Like, he has a bunch of hands, like, sprouting out of the ground. And you have to get grabbed by him. And then he appears, and he just kind of like scrunches over and then lowers his head at you. Then you gotta like mash out of the hand and then like attack him. I'll say I lost my first time, but that was because I lost all my hearts to the invisible floor room. Like, that was kind of annoying. But this is still like a tier dungeon. Like, you know me, I like this scary. I like this scary stuff. So eventually you beat him, he falls to the ground, and he's still smiling. He likes the fun of the game. He knows this is an A-tier dungeon. Then you get the chest, and you learn what Navi's talking about. It's the lens of truth. The more Navi, you're ruining the illusion that I'm not recording the music through different platforms. Navi, you're going to B tier. Alright, So, as I was saying, I'm learning. Like, what? If there was a game, another Zelda game, to compare Ocarina of Time to, I think it would be Twilight Princess. Just with how the dungeons are set up and what items you get, because in Twilight Princess there's a water temple, you get the iron boots in there, there's a lens of truth, I'm pretty sure, or something that's called something of truth. It's been a while. You get the fire dragon guy. Kakariko Village gets destroyed. I feel like anyone who says, Ocarina of Time is kind of the best game ever should take a look at Twilight Princess. Review their life. So, going back to Lens of Truth, I was kind of surprised it was an item. Kind of weird. You put it on, and then you can see the spots in the floor. So I went back to the room I had so much trouble with, and I just walked on the floor. And I easily passed through the place earlier, through the floor, and then I opened the door, and I was like, uh-oh, there's a like. And then I closed the door. And I'm like, time for Din's Fire. And then I opened the door, and I did Din's Fire, and then, Din's Fire can't hurt likes. And then he ate me and my shield, and I was like, well, there's my shield. And then I attacked him, and then apparently he doesn't eat the shields. I thought he ate the shields. Like, ate them. I don't know. And then I got another Skulltula. This place has a lot of Skulltulas, I don't know. And apparently that was that was it for this dungeon. It's a weird dungeon. It's a weird but good dungeon. That's my review. Then I played the song, or played the Forest Temple song, and I'm like, time to get out of here. Can I even leave a dungeon like this? And I warped to the Forest Temple, and Saria was there. I'm like, can I even, or what happens if I play Saria's song in front of Saria? And she's like, yeah, just go and talk to me. And I was like, I wondered if that would, like, even be a thing. And they thought of that, those Nintendo devs. And that's the whole dungeon. So this was not the Shadow Temple, apparently, or whatever people like. So what was the thing about the shadow dragging them into a well? Is Dead Hand not the shadow? Like, what is the deal? That's like a strange plot. Why did you have to spin the windmill? Like, if I do the temple and this plot does not get resolved, I feel like there's gonna be like a million theories about this dungeon, if there isn't already. But I think that's why I like it already. It's like, ooh, just a strange little dungeon. Don't mind me, I'm at the bottom of a well. I guess this is where I say, what will happen in the next one? We still haven't gotten the mirror shield. I'm about giving up with the mirror shield. I don't know. How about like I already got like a hook shot. How about like new bombs? I vote for new bombs. Shadow Temple, new bombs. Let's go. It's gonna be... I hope it's like continuing on, like... it somehow connects into the well. Or else it's gonna feel a little weird, you know? So that's my hope. So, thank you so much. I never know how to end these. Thank you so much. Well. It's been, welling. Hope you have a Wellington today.